Please leave your message for 3.
Hello.
Yellow. You are
Hey.
on What You Up To?
What you up to?
My talk show that is kind of fake and kind of real.
Nice. Those are my favorite types of talk shows.
How you been, man?
I've been good.
Yeah.
I've been good. Yeah. Healthy. Relatively happy.
Good. That's like.
How have you been?
That's great considering. That's great news. I've been all right.
I mean, working our way through the Paul W.S. Anderson filmography. Really,
that's true.
It's the perfect time.
True. This is really the only time to work through that.
Yeah, I mean, in these times, thank God we have Paul W.S. Anderson.
What else are we missing? What haven't we watched?
Well,
I'm not familiar.
Actually, well, we've gotten Mortal Kombat. I think he did a couple of the Resident Evils. I think he did more than the first one.
Okay.
He definitely wrote a lot of them.
Okay.
And you can definitely tell.
I wonder if he had any hand in the development of the game. Not the movie.
Gotta hope not.
Not the movie, the game, but the game Resident Evil.
Oh man, what if they made a Resident Evil game based on his universe?
Yeah, or what if they made the game into a game?
Do you remember when they came out with that Jean-Claude Van Damme Street Fighter movie, and then they came out with the Street Fighter the movie, the video game?
I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, it was like a Mortal Kombat looking game.
Why would they do that?
I don't know. I don't know.
What system was it for? Street Fighter, I guess, was originally like Sega or Super Nintendo, like that era.
Yeah. I want to say it was probably Sega, Super Nintendo era. Because they were like, "Oh, Mortal Kombat is popular. It's knocking Street Fighter off of the number one spot for fighting games. So let's do. This is a perfect opportunity."
Yeah,
we've got Jean-Claude.
I remember going to because he played the military guy in Street Fighter, right?
Right.
I remember going to an arcade as a kid, and there was a big line for the Street Fighter game, and like a line of us like 12-year-olds or something, and then and then on the other, like the one guy was just beating the line, and this dude was probably like 20 years old, and he would just be the Jean-Claude Van Damme military guy. I think it was him, or no, you know what? It might have been the like Nazi guy, or is that the same guy? Maybe it's
Which
the
one?
same guy. The like Nazi. I think he was like a Nazi character who would like. Maybe he wasn't a Nazi. Maybe he was like Russian.
Oh, the main villain of the game.
Yeah,
he did kind of. Yeah, he did kind of have that like. Yeah.
He had kind of a vibe like that. Yeah.
Jack boots and all kinds of shit.
Yeah, and he was like the bad guy. So, but I think, and I remember his character. I remember his move, which was just like he would just like spin. It was kind of like a Reagan move. He would like fly across like the screen at you, but in like surrounded by like a green energy.
Ronald Reagan. Like a spinning jelly bean. Dude,
yeah, totally... he kind of did look like a spinning jelly bean. And maybe that's all of that spinning is what made Reagan so confused. And then he would so the guy who was doing this at the arcade would just like do that move, and then he would go back the other way as soon as you got up, and you'd just like do this over and over again. And like, and it was like as a kid, you don't realize it's like how pathetic that is.
Yeah.
And now I just think of it as so tedious. Like, what fun could that have been? Like that little amount of power to just do the same tedious movement that I can still remember. It's like you hold back, I think, for a while, and then forward and like punch or something.
Yeah. Well, that's so funny that he's playing that character.
Yeah,
because it's just like the perfect expression of his inner turmoil.
It makes you think maybe we could have been spared the Third Reich if Street Fighter had been available.
Yeah, man, just let Hitler just fucking spinning jelly bean him.
Yeah, and he was a painter.
Yeah.
Have you been doing any I don't know, any painting or anything? Haven't done that in a while, right? Seems like a good time to whip out the screen prints and stuff.
Yeah. No, I think mostly I do stuff in Photoshop these days.
Cool.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've done pulled some screens, but
yeah. What was your process for that? Anna had one in when we first moved to Los Angeles. I remember Anna had one that was like, she would actually like paint the thing in like a certain kind of paint. It was an actual screen. Then she would paint the image onto the screen and then like put the screen on a t-shirt and, actually have just some black ink that she would just spread across the screen.
Yeah. So there's a special kind of what is it called? I'm not sure it's paint. It's like a light reactive thing.
Okay.
I haven't done it in a while, so I can't remember the name of it, but you basically, you spread that over the screen, and then you put your design or your image, and the areas that you want
I think I see
burned out.
How
then
it would work.
You hit it with like a 500 watt light.
Gotcha. And then the light's what like either like solidifies it or
exactly. Yeah. Okay. And the black will block it out.
Yeah.
So and then once you have your screens, it's pretty easy to. Again, you go in Photoshop and you want to have your different layers if you have different colors and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah, colors.
I think I only ever did one color once.
Yeah.
It's a pretty fun process.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool when Anna was doing it, just because like just got a bunch of like thrift store shirts and stuff. So it wasn't even on like t-shirts. It was on like random button ups and shit like that. It looked kind of cool.
Hell yeah.
I remember when Seth and I first went on tour with Country Death, like, we did everything wrong. And right before we meant to get like Reach printed out the tapes for us. And we were trying to get everything ready, and we planned to do shirts. And then we went to Chicago first and like realized we hadn't done any of the shirts yet. And we tried to do like, I think Lur might have had some kind of like screen printing thing, but like we couldn't figure it out. And like Lur was too busy. And so I just held a can of spray paint, like like up to was just like basically just shooting spray paint at shirts.
That's amazing.
We had all these shirts, and like I don't think we ever sold them because they didn't look like anything.
I mean, you gotta have shirts.
Yeah, well, I think I ended up just wearing one for a while, for years, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's right. We had one skull print or something, like one skull, like not a print, like a one skull. What's the word you call it? Like a filter or whatever, like a. I can't think of the words.
Like a stencil?
Stencil. That's exactly what it was. It was a skull stencil. Oh. So you've been watching any TV?
I've been watching. I got into The West Wing probably a couple months ago. Yeah, I'd never seen it. I kind of vowed, like, I had this weird, like, unspoken vow of, like, oh, I'll never watch that show for some reason. I don't know why.
I think we all had that vow.
Yeah, but yeah, it's pretty good. It's kind of escapist fantasy for me.
Right. No, I can understand that. I like his. There's something very like meditative about Sorkin's dialogue, and just like it's like it is escapism in that it's like this world where like everyone's smart and always like quoting like smart things, and even the bad people are like easy to listen to, you know.
Totally.
And it's like everything's got this really nice like rhythm and flow, and like it almost feels like kind of like you know, the way like plays and stuff used to rhyme or be in verse or whatever. It almost feels like its own kind of verse.
Yeah. It's the writing I've found has been very, very dense.
Yes.
And it's almost like you have to be like a conversational genius to speak in that way.
Yeah. It feels very literary. It feels like kind of something that would be in a book. But then the people are walking as they're delivering it.
Yeah. The acting is really great too.
Yeah.
It's
a long
the guy
show
plays
on for a while, right?
Yeah, I think it was 7 seasons, maybe 7 or 8 seasons.
Wow.
I'm on season 5 right now, and season 5 is kind of where like shit hits the fan, and just like every episode is just like a total downer.
Yeah. Is it Martin Sheen? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's so awesome. I love him so much.
Oh, he's great.
He is great. The guy that plays Leo, his chief of staff.
Yeah.
It's really good. That actor's really good.
Yeah, I can picture that guy, but I can't think of his name. He's like a character actor and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, he's great. And Allison Janney, of course.
Okay.
She's great as C.J. Craig, the press secretary. Yeah. I'm learning a lot about like how the government functions too, which is something I never thought I would be.
Yeah. Or more
about have knowledge of
how it doesn't function these days. Am I right?
Yeah. What's the opposite of progress? Congress. Hey.
Not to get all Jello Biafra on everybody, but that's interesting. How far along did you start that cold? Like, did you start that episode 1 during lockdown?
Yep.
Okay.
No, it was before. It was probably I don't know. I started around December or January.
Okay. Yeah, I've been like Reach got me watching Rick and Morty. So I kind of binged. I went through all of that in a matter of like a week or whatever.
Yeah. Lions got me into that.
Yeah. And then I ended up buying the new season of Better Call Saul and binged that. I've just been like for a while I was pretty much just watching movies. and now I'm kind of on mostly TV.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna watch Ozark, even though I had sworn that I was done with that. Like, I tried to watch Westworld as well. It pulled me back in just because, like, it's ridiculous, and that's why I stopped watching it. It feels like kind of like poor man's Breaking Bad. You know what I mean? Like, it just it's not quite as good. Like, the characters aren't as. It's just, I mean, and that's not fair because Breaking Bad's like the best show ever made to me, at least. You know, so like, but it feels like. Yeah. Anyway, it's like ridiculous, but now I just feel like, why not? Like, because I started trying to watch Community after watching Rick and Morty or whatever. I was like, yeah, I don't know, it was pretty well written. Here's another Dan Harmon show, bunch of seasons of it. I like all these actors. And like, I couldn't get into it just because like there wasn't like any stakes. You know what I mean? Like, there's just no element of real drama in it. It's like, which is like, sometimes you kind of want that lightheartedness in a sitcom, but I have trouble like binging something like that when it's just fun.
I've only ever watched the Dungeons and Dragons episode of that show.
Oh, and, that was a famous one.
They did a good job of like establishing the characters. Because like, you know, this was my first time encountering these characters, and they did a good job of kind of establishing everybody's personalities and characteristics in just that one episode. And it was pretty good.
It's definitely got something. It's definitely like smart and fast, and like, yeah, it seems good. I just feel like even like Silicon Valley or whatever, like I watched that all the way through, but like I watched it week by week. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like a fun show that's funny, but like you're not like really, it doesn't feel like real drama necessarily. Like you don't really care because it's so silly. And and that's kind of the same thing going with Community. Like, I might slowly work my way through it because it is funny.
Chevy Chase is such an asshole.
Such a dick. It's perfect for that.
Yeah, totally.
Can you imagine? I mean, okay, first of all, there's a road called Chevy Chase. Right?
There is.
I mean, we've both driven by it many a time, probably taken it here and there. What was that? What's that all about? Why is there a Chevy Chase road?
I don't know. Is this kind of like the chicken or the egg?
I mean, he is a big star, right? He was a huge star, right?
Yeah, right.
But okay, I didn't even consider it. So you're saying like, was the road there, and then Chevy Chase named himself after the road? Because clearly that can't be a real name.
Because like his name, that's his stage name. His real name is like Reginald.
Yeah.
His
real name's like Bob Thompson or something, like
Bob Serpentini, Chevrolet.
But like, even if he was a big star, like Tom Cruise doesn't have a road.
It's true.
Why doesn't Tom Cruise have a road, but Chevy Chase does? And same with what's the guy who's was in like some, I feel like he was in he's a great actor. He was in that vampire movie. He was in one of the vampire movies, and as like a vampire hunter, and he is now a like conservative Twitter asshole as an actor.
Randy Quaid?
No, Randy Quaid. Randy Quaid. No, this guy's like James Brooks. Is that his name? Not James L. Brooks. Not the Simpsons guy. Something Brooks, I feel like.
He was a vampire hunter.
He was like not yeah. God, that's a bad example. He was in oh, okay, here it is. You know the story about the actress in the 60s that was like fell off of the boat with Christopher Walken? Do you know that story? Christopher Walken and this guy were on a boat, and oh, okay, it's James Woods. Nathan came in. I forgot to look at the chat. But
James Woods.
James Woods.
Old Jimmy Woods. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
There's
a road.
John Carpenter's Vampires, right? That's
yes, I was thinking it was Carpenter. Yeah, and Robert Wagner was the other guy. I thought the other guy on the boat, I thought it was James Woods and fucking
Natalie Wood.
Just the woods. The forest was on the boat. Oh, well, I could just sit here and not know actors' names all day.
Yeah, it's like a normal, it's a normal day.
It is.
Words,
all I do.
Names,
foods.
You're gonna look back on this and say, that was the first moment the Alzheimer's started kicking in.
Yeah, I think about that a lot.
Yeah,
it could happen.
It could.
What a strange thing. That's what happened to oh my God, not again. That's what happened to Terry Brooks, right?
Terry Brooks, probably.
The fantasy writer. Did you ever read any of his stuff?
Oh yeah. Jim, he hooked me up with Discworld stuff, right?
Discworld, yeah. And he made the stuff with he made the Bad Omens, I think.
Oh, with Neil Gaiman.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you nailed that one. Nailed that name.
I was just waiting. It's on the tip. It's always on the tip of my tongue. I'm just waiting to say Neil Gaiman forever.
Yeah.
Just.
I liked the Bad Omens TV show on Amazon.
I never saw that. The billboards were kind of cool.
I enjoyed it. It was a pretty fun show, like good production and stuff, and pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
Because I never really got into those books. I don't know why. That would be a good time.
Yeah, I think the one that I read through was Mort the Magician, I think.
Okay.
And Jim said it was a good place to start because it kind of explained the world a little bit.
The Discworld. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was the interesting thing was it was describing a color that didn't exist in our world.
Yeah. That's interesting.
And so that was I'd never read anything like that before.
Yeah, I feel like that was kind of his thing, was just setting up very good, kind of silly psychedelic stuff mixed with kind of fantasy sci-fi-ish type stuff.
Yeah, totally.
But I also tried to watch Westworld. I tried to get back into it. Lena was working on the new season.
Yeah.
Tried to get there. I couldn't do it. It's so bad.
So do you think they'd ever do a Westworld, West Wing crossover, universe crossover?
That would have been a good place to take this third season instead of back into the real world. Westworld,
whole army of President Bartletts.
Westworld, West Wing world.
West Wing world. Oh God!
Because they were coming up with all kinds of worlds. You
too can be an intern at President Bartlett's White House.
This is what I was saying to, I feel like Anna the other day, was that if I had to come up with my perfect virtual reality world to live in, it would basically be a reconstruction of my past, where I could go through and it would be my high school reconstruction, exactly how it was. And I could go through it and kind of remember it and shit. And then but also be as, have the mind that I have now and be able to fix things or whatever. To me, that would be the ultimate video game.
Oh, so you wouldn't be a fly on the wall just watching what was happening. You could actually be a participant.
I think there would be two different modes. Because I've thought about that too. Part of me just wants to watch and be oh yeah, that's what that guy, that's what that teacher looked like and shit.
Yeah.
But then the other part of me, you'd get bored with that pretty quick, and then you'd want to affect the world or whatever in some way, and that would probably escalate to just a Sims kind of world or a Grand Theft Auto-esque world.
You get the sports almanac. Pretty soon, you know.
Yeah, and oh man, the problems that society's going to run into in these sorts of, like, if we lose like full generations of people already in the virtual lives that are existent now, once it's like indistinguishable, like you're not, I mean, no one's going to hear from me ever again. Once I can, the way that I delve into a TV show, oh, dude, I don't stand a chance.
Yeah, no, I totally, I can relate to that. When you know, anytime there's a new Elder Scrolls game that comes out,
yeah,
or like a Fallout game or something like that, where I know I'm going to sink 200 hours into it, I just kind of let everybody know.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, I feel
okay.
like I don't remember if this is. I feel like I heard that like when the new Dragon Warrior game came out in Japan, like back in the day, that like when they would release a new version, like it would be like almost a national holiday. Just everybody would stay in.
Yep, they moved it to Saturdays because it's the only game that releases on Saturday because people were like ditching school, calling in sick to work.
Yeah. I remember Tommy and I during lunch. You might have already graduated at this point, and during lunch, I remember we went and took off school to go buy the Weezer's Green album.
Oh, nice! Yeah,
go and like drive around in his van and listen to it.
You got your hash pipe, man.
Yeah, that was the hash pipe days. This is a pretty cool song.
I remember. Did you ever wait in line for like a midnight release of an album?
Trying to think. I don't think I ever did. I don't think I ever even waited in line for like concert tickets or anything. Did you?
The only album that I waited in line for midnight release was Radiohead's Kid A.
Oh yeah, I think a similar thing happened with I think Reg and I might have gone at lunch to get that at Best Buy, and I can definitely remember like going home that day, going to Reg's house, and us laying in his basement, like in the dark, listening to Kid A on his phone. Just being like,
totally.
Honestly, everybody loves Kid A. Kid A is a great album. I still think OK Computer I like better.
Yeah. Kid A. OK Computer is kind of like you can put it on during the day and you can focus to it and listen to it. Kid A is like this weird, almost like there are like songs that are just like atmospheric.
Yes.
And it's not something you want to put on at a party.
Right. I feel like Kid A is great. It's great music, but I kind of feel like the reason it got so much attention is partly why it's so is another reason as to why it's so great, which is like it's the most kind of almost self-referential of them, because it's the fact that they made it is what makes it so interesting. Like it was a statement about like not using guitars and shit almost.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like almost a postmodern album for them. You know what I mean? Like if it had come out as another band, and I've read things where a lot of bands were kind of like, they kind of ripped off like this band and this band for Kid A, like that they just got into all this different kind of like electronic music and stuff, and we're just kind of recreating it. But I feel like OK Computer was like the peak of just them doing what like no other band could do, kind of like their own thing. Something. But also I was like, whatever, 14 or something when it came out, which is the ideal age for any kind, you know what I mean? Like that's when you love something. That's when you truly love music more than any other. Like it was just a perfect album.
It's probably the only time in your life where you have enough time to like literally analyze every minute and just listen to songs on repeat and just, you know, you like really etch it into your very core.
Yeah,
you know,
that's probably a big part of it. Is like, just. And then sometimes I think maybe I was pretty busy though. No, I guess I couldn't have been because I watched so much TV. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think it was that, and then I also think like maybe our brains are just more malleable.
Yeah, now that you mention that, it might be a perception thing, because now it's like you sit down to listen to something and what thoughts are creeping into your head, like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I gotta worry about this, I gotta worry about that. Whereas back then it was just like, this is the only thing that I have.
Yeah.
I don't have school until Monday morning or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. I was thinking about that actually recently, that like when you're young and your brain is kind of malleable or whatever, you get the things you get lost in are like the present, like what's going on, who you have a crush on, what you're going to do that day. And you get lost in the existential, but your existential world is basically the future. And then,
right.
You know what I mean? So like you don't have regrets yet. And then when you get older, your existential world expands drastically, where you're not only lost in the future, but you also are constantly lost in the past. And because of your experience in the past, your outlook on the future is like way more worrisome. Whereas like when you're young, your existential outlook is like, I'm gonna be a rock star. Everything's gonna be super cool. Once these old people die out, I'm gonna be awesome. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. That's a lot of the work that I've been trying to do has been trying to limit living from the past. Yeah. And really trying to refocus on being present in situations.
Yeah, it kind of feels
every day.
It kind of feels like you like the past is important just to like not repeat it. You know what I mean? Like I think it's like important to like not get lost in all of the details of it, but just like kind of take like the basic feelings and memories, like the basic, like I almost like forming morals from it, like taking the moral of the story and not constantly replaying the actual event.
Right.
Something like that. So I get lost in that too. Do you ever, I get lost in it when I'm right before I go to sleep. That's like my time that like it'll like haunt me, and I have to do some serious mental work as far as like just not dwelling on things or whatever. And like
your brain kind of hitting replay and just replaying it over and over.
Yeah, almost like you're stuck in a loop of a song or something. And I have like various like mental almost like meditations, almost like worlds that I try to go to as far as like what to think about when I'm trying to not think about things. Like they're strange things where they're often like building a cabin in the woods. So
interesting.
It's a fantasy about that. There's something about kind of like building almost like a bunker. A lot of it involves building things. Some kind of fortified bunker, like a Swiss Family Robinson. They're, getting all the traps ready and everything from the pirates. And I wonder if there's some kind of symbolic like thing about like, protecting yourself from your brain or whatever, something like that.
Well, I think it was Immanuel Kant who talked about building your own house, quote unquote, where it's like talking about your mental state and how like someone else, your parents or society, has built your house, and it's up to you to tear down that house and rebuild it on your own.
Yeah.
So, like, thus kind of rebuilding your own psyche.
Yeah,
or your own outlook or whatever.
That's probably something that has kind of subconsciously drifted into those thoughts. Like I've asked other people if they have modes or actual visualizations that they do. And and one friend was saying they do just like, they just envision like just a blank white light, basically.
Oh,
like I need something a little more dynamic. But that's the place I want to get to, I think. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm trying to get to, is just an emptying of the mind, which is, I guess, what basic, meditation's all about. Just focusing to the point where you're not focusing on the wrong things.
Yeah.
Something like that.
There's one meditation I've been doing. I don't remember the guy's name, but it's called like Mountain Lake or something like that, and it's about you're like mentally engaging your senses and like putting yourself into this like forest trail, walking this path, and you ultimately lead up to this lake in front of this kind of mountain vista. That's been really interesting, trying to like mentally hear what's going on and smell and kind of see. I don't remember what it's called. Mental imagery, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah. That's very familiar to kind of what I do at night. When I'm not quite tired enough or whatever, or just something's nagging at me. But yeah, totally, because like you can just kind of, it makes sense because they talk about that, like building that sort of imagery just to form memories. You know what I mean? Like they say, like if you keep losing your keys or whatever, then you're supposed to, like, when you set down your keys, like build up an elaborate like thought thing. Yeah. In your brain of like, I'm setting these here because of this, and I don't know. You like are supposed to add a bunch of weird like I don't know, like weird nonsensical things that like will stand out in your brain next time you do it.
So it like helps you connect the dots in like a weird way.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
Exactly. There's a pretty good Key and Peele sketch where like they're trying to remember where they parked, and it's basically just making fun of that, where one of them like immediately comes up with a great little like brain trick to remember where it is, and the other one just like comes up with a crazy elaborate system.
Reminds me of that like the trick shot thing from the 90s, like off the wall, through my legs, off the dick, nothing but neck.
There's you know how they do that on, I'll sometimes get lost watching YouTube videos where like bro-y type dudes will like, be throwing like shots like, off of from their apartment, like into a basketball hoop or something like that, or they'll like toss their keys from across the room right onto the hook or whatever, just things that look like super impressive because they just did it for all day until they got it. And there's I think it was John Benjamin when he had his sketch show. John Benjamin Has a Van, and he was doing a sketch of that where it's just like, it's called like the ultimate bro shot or something, and they were throwing ping pong balls into cups of beer. But like every time there would be like this elaborate thing where it'd like be like off the wall, onto the thing. And then every time it would land in the beer, there would be a guy with his dick out just standing right next to the cup. Like that they just wouldn't mention. Like
no, there's a dick hanging out.
Yeah. He did a great live performance where he I'm trying to even place it. I think it was him and Nathan Fielder, and they
Dream Team.
They like came. They asked everybody. Okay, this is what it was. They said like this show cost like too much money, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give everybody here $1 because it cost like a dollar too much to see us do this. And then, and then he walked through the audience and gave everybody $1, and then came back up and said, "But honestly, that was pretty brilliant what I just did by giving you all $1, which made the show so brilliant that it's more valuable now. So I gotta go back through and get the $1 back from everybody." And he took the $1 again.
Brilliant. That's so good.
Yeah. Those guys are funny. I wish there'd be more seasons of Nathan For You. I think that was like my favorite show. One of my favorite comedies.
Totally.
Just so creative.
Yeah.
So you're still right across from Reg?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is that weird being like, we can't really hang out, but we're like right there? Do you like still see each other? Like,
we've done the thing where it's kind of like you stand in your open doorways and you're just kind of like talking to each other.
Yeah, totally.
But it's just weird. It's weird.
I know. I almost, I think like she said somebody like not come into the house, but like, or somebody who lives close by came over, and we stood like 10 feet apart with masks on and talked for a while. But like doing that feels almost like more of a reminder of like how weird it is. Like I'd almost rather just Skype or whatever, or Zoom or whatever.
Yeah. There's something really anxiety inducing as well for me, just like standing in a doorway.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you're like, you haven't like crossed any threshold. It's just like this weird in between.
Yes. I hate that feeling where I feel like I'm in the way almost, or like, or I'm like about to go, like, I'm like,
go in or go out.
Like, like I always give Chisa shit about like, when we go to, like, let's say we're just walking down the street. I mean, not anymore. It's not like this anymore, but back in the day when we'd be walking down the street and like Chisa might see.
Oh my God. Do you remember back in the day?
Do you remember those days?
Holy
a million years ago. And if we'd like see like one of her coworkers or something, or a friend, and like she'd like stop and talk to the person, and that sort of thing, and just kind of like would keep the conversation going. And in my mind, I was probably projecting, but I would like sense that the person wanted to like keep going, like they had some place they were supposed to go and we're keeping them, so we gotta like move the conversation along. And like I would always feel like Chisa wouldn't notice the signs or whatever. But then like I'm like sure that also it's just my anxieties, and actually it was like I probably so many times have like walked by somebody and been like, hey, all right, bye. Just like ran away or whatever.
Well, I'm sure you've got your thing that you've got going on.
All right. Yeah, you're clearly busy. I mean, here you were walking on the sidewalk.
Little did you know that person had tears in their eyes as you were sprinting away.
They were on that sidewalk just hoping for a social interaction.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Brian. Oh,
oh okay. Hey, I'm having a baby. Oh, okay, bye.
My wife right here is having. We just wanted to include you. Oh, okay. See ya.
I'm moving away from the country. All right.
All right. Well, yeah.
Hey man, I was just thinking this might be a good thing for you in your voice acting career.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like all dialogue from forevermore will be recorded from our homes. So like, or like the only TV ever made again will be animation. So this could be it.
This could be it.
This could be good.
This could be my big break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
Have you been working on any impressions or anything? I don't know.
I'm keeping my Jay Leno in the wheelhouse. Keeping my Leno. So that's funny that you mentioned that. But playing D&D online a lot. I have like a really terrible Sean Connery that I do. A really terrible French accent that I do. Like a really horrifically bad like Elmo impression that I've been doing.
That sounds great. I can do impressions every once in a while, and they just come to me in the moment. You know what I mean? Like if I'm not thinking about it, and suddenly for a moment I can do like Werner Herzog or something. But having just said his name out loud, and if I tried to do it right now, it wouldn't even sound like a German accent. It would just be terrible. I can't call upon it. It's like the way I used to watch my friends try to skateboard, and I would be like, well, do this, and they'd be like, I just did it yesterday, but I can't do it now. Like
for all of the great things that Werner Herzog has done.
Yeah.
When you say that name now, all I can think of is bounty hunting is a complicated profession. And he's great in that role, but like that's the only thing that comes to mind now.
He's such a weirdo. Just such a
I
strange guy who just like was totally fine like acting and stuff too, and
yeah.
Yeah, just a fucking freak.
Bounty
He wrote a
hunting
pretty
is
cool book.
complicated.
He wrote a pretty good like long biography or autobiography, I guess it's called. Just like one of those Herzog on Herzog, I think it was.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
Herzog's Hertlog.
Yeah, I remember he and this could be a good ending point. That he was asked like to give advice to like I think other filmmakers or something, and he said his advice was before you take a shower, make sure that the shower curtain is hanging on the inside of the tub.
And he's like, also, if I may add, bounty hunting is a complicated profession.
That's funny. All right, man. Well,
all right, buddy.
Really good talking to you. Good hearing your voice.
Too.
Good luck hanging in there and enjoy that West Wing. Enjoy that West Wing.
Thank you.
Westworld Wing.
Westworld Wing.
All right, man. Have a good day.
All right, buddy.
Talk to you soon.
You too.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye, everybody.